he's a cutie pie. I might put him in Potomac. Okay, yes. Yeah, he can come right on to Potomac.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Richie Sky back with another video. As you guys can see, I have a very special guest in the house today. She decided to come on into the room and chat with us for a bit. Welcome, Shiana, otherwise known as the Cookie Lady.
The Cookie Lady, Shiana, that's me.
So, Shiana, can we dive right in?
Let's plunge. Let's do it.
Well, first off, thank you for doing this. I appreciate that. So tell me how you got connected with the ladies on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I have a cookie shop, a luxury cookie boutique in the Beacon, which Cynthia has a wine cellar in there. We've been building out for like over a year and a half, kind of running in and out of the shop, running into her employees or sisters. So kind of interacted, kind of bonded with the ladies, and especially the people at the wine cellar. Cynthia, Mal, and her employees, super good, great relationship and love with them.
Okay, cool. And so how did it work with them filming with you? Like, how did they have to, was that a process that you guys had discussed prior to?
We had talked about it prior. We had spoke in regard to doing some filming with the cookies and the ladies in the shop, and just kind of interacting here and there and here. So we kind of like thought about it and talked about a couple of different things. So yeah, it was kind of a discussion before the shop were even open.
Because that's some good promo right there.
It is. I'm truly blessed to have my shop right there with Cynthia. So
okay, cool. So I want to chat. I'm gonna ask you some personal questions about yourself a little bit later, but I want to get to how you kind of came into contact with Tanya's fiance.
Got it. Was at dinner one evening, Chopped at the private restaurant in the back. Me and my sister and two gentlemen were having dinner at a table. I want to say we're probably midway through dinner. I noticed a group of guys came into the back, sat like behind us to the side, but yet in my view, it was about 10 guys, drinking, talking, came in. You could tell they probably were celebrating something, or just maybe it was just like a guy's night out. Well, I'm sitting there talking to my people at the table. I noticed, all these guys, but I noticed there was one guy, we're yellow, we high yellow. So I noticed a high yellow man kind of like turned like away from his crowd, like, but to my direction, to my attention, and directing towards me. But he's like, hey, like, what's up? So I'm sitting there at the dinner table, and I'm like, oh, he's super rude. Like, okay, so I'm continuously eating, drinking. So he's still like trying to get my attention, like, so of course I glance up and look, so I kick my sister, like, what? I'm going to the restroom. So I got up because I was super uncomfortable sitting there eating. He's like kind of like getting my attention. I'm talking. I'm just like, oh my God, there's too much going on. So I get up, walk to the restroom. When I hit the stairs, he's literally right on my tail, right behind me, like, hey, how are you? I'm like, hey, how are you? I'm like, see, you guys are enjoying yourself. So we kind of like chit-chatted right there at the bathroom. I really wanted to get him away from the bathroom because I'm like, if my friends come back here, it's super rude. It was so tacky. So I'm like, let me give you a card. Give him a business card. My business card has my logo on it, business name, and all that good stuff. So since I'm playing everything back from then to now, I think that he noticed my logo on my business card, and it kind of brought the flag up to where he was like, okay, let me simmer this down a little bit. So we talked at the restroom for a minute. So he went back to his table. I went in the restroom. I called my sister in the restroom, like, who is that dude? Like, he looks super familiar. I'm like, I think I know him from LA because I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay.
I know him from LA. I asked him, I'm like, are you from LA? He's like, no, I travel a lot. I go to San Francisco a lot. I'm like, I used to live in the Bay. Maybe I know you from the Bay. Like, you look familiar. Didn't know who he was. I'm an LA girl. I don't know who these Atlanta guys are. So we go back to the table. I go back to the table with my sister. We sit down. We're talking, whatever. So we get up to leave. I'm hugging my friends. Bye. So he's still like, please, like, stay. Let's have a drink. Please stay. I'm like, oh, Lord. I'm like, baby sister, you want to stay? Because she's fresh in town. So it's a whole bunch of guys at the table. I'm like, let's hang out. Forget it. She's like, yeah, let's stay. So at that moment, we picked up our drinks. I went over to sit by the bar. It was like some tables. I sat at the table. My sister stood at the bar, grabbed her another drink. He comes over and sits at the table with me. So we're sitting there talking for a while, talking. I'm really big on energy. I really wasn't feeling his energy. He just felt just different. He just I wasn't vibing with him.
Okay.
We were talking. I told him, I have 4 children. He was complimenting me on my shoes, my bag, my skin, my hair. He was just like, I was like, damn, if we don't do anything, we could be best friends because you are gassing me up, baby. So we sat there and talked for a while, but at a time, I kind of like lost interest. I started like looking at the television, and it was just like, he told me that he was single. He did not say he was engaged. He said he was single. I'm like, do you have any children? He's like, I don't have any children. I'm like, I don't have any kids. Like, you're in your 40s. When is it going to happen? He basically was like, he really kind of didn't want kids. He's like, I don't own a dog. I don't own a plant. I don't own anything. So I was like, oh, wow, what kind of fella is that? But, okay, I'm family oriented. So friends, family, guys I'm dating, whomever, they are, if they don't have children, they're into their family. They definitely have dogs. They definitely have plants. So it was just like, all right. So I left that alone. We left. Me and my sister left, and we actually went to the St. Regis, chilled out for the rest of the night. Realized, I know I had said on a podcast, and it's funny because my sister had to correct me. Me and my sister had walked into my mom's house one evening, and she had the Housewives on. And I sat down, and I seen him. I said, Amira! That's my sister's name. Here is Dude Paul. I'm like, not how he is the girl Tanya's fiance. What is he doing? I'm like, oh, he is out here wild. And then he's from Atlanta, too, so I know he's well known. So he's got to be known to just be a talkative, flirtatious man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you put it together, what happened next?
When I put it together, I found him on Instagram, and I went to his DM, and I was like, hey, it was nice meeting you last week, because I wanted him to know, bruh, I know who you are. You lied and said I know who you are now. So I did say, hey, it was nice meeting you last week. That was it. Never DM'd him. He never DM'd me, nothing. So I know he was like, oh, shit, she knows. So next thing you know, after the taping and the shot with Kenya and Cynthia, the whole time they're taping, I'm in the back talking to my son. My son's 17. I'm like, son, I really want to let them know what happened. I'm like, it's only a matter of time before Tanya and her guy walks in here and tapes and something happens. I said, if I don't say anything, I'm going to look like a tramp. I'm going to really look bad. My son is like, Mom, right. Please don't say anything. I'm like, baby, I have to. Like, I'm a woman. I can't be sitting up here coaching with Cynthia and I got a secret on her friend that it's just a lady thing. You know, it's not gossip.
Okay. Because as a guy, I would have said the same thing. I would have been like, but I understand it though. I understand why you might want to say, this is what's up.
I'm 43 years old. I'm not 13. I'm not in my 20s. I don't play games. I'm straight up, straightforward. I've been through hell and back. I wish somebody would have enlightened me on a situation that I had been in prior. Because then I would have been like, oh, okay, I would have dealt my cards a little differently and played them a little differently, should I say.
Right.
So, lunch, when we go to lunch, Kenya invites me to lunch. I have no idea that they're in there feuding, they're arguing, they're doing any of this. When I get the call to come in to have lunch and talk to Tanya, I'm like, perfect, cool. I get to go in and talk to this lady. I knew it was being taped. So I'm like, I get to go in and talk to this lady. Now, I'm not a hurtful person. I'm not here to hurt your feelings, to bring you down. Like I said, I've been through hell and back. So if anything, I'm here to uplift the person and enlighten you. So, of course, when I walk in lunch, I'm like, hey, desserts on me, thinking I'm bringing some sweet desserts. And, hey, I'm not knowing that I came in the midst of a fight, and I'm in the middle of the ring now without any knowledge of what's going on.
So you didn't know that they had, like, a little beef going on?
I had a beef, but I didn't know they were beefing at the table like they were when they aired it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't know none of that. So, of course, when I come in, I'm like, hey, how are you? Hi, ladies. Hi, nice to meet you. I come in sweet as pie, sweet as cookies, should I say. Have a seat. So the ladies introduced us, whatever. So we go to start talking. As we're talking now, everything is being cut, of course, because it's being edited. And, of course, you know, they want to show what they want to show to keep the viewers engaged, in line, all that good stuff. So I don't blame nobody. So I'm there talking to Tanya. Now, nobody showed Tanya's attitude and how she conducted herself at that table. She was hollering, yelling, see, nothing happened, raising her hand. Oh, she got a little black in her came out. Yeah, she got a little. So it was one time where I had to say, calm down, like, relax, calm down. I'm just here talking casually, and she's getting loud. So I had to tell her to calm down one time. She continuously kept calling me a different name. Shiona. I'm like, honey, my name is Shiana. I kept correcting her politely. They didn't show that. They just didn't show her cutting up. And then it was another scene where I had to say, don't be mad at me because I'm beautiful and your man just happened to glance this way. I had to say that because I had to shut her up and calm her down. Like, be quiet. Please calm down, lady. So that's what that was about. See, nobody's seen that. They just heard the tone in my voice, my reaction, and how I reacted.
So I was going to tell you, that was literally one of my biggest points, because I wanted to ask you, how did you get to that point where you ended up saying that? Because that right there is one of those points that made you look like the villain in that situation.
Bad.
Yeah.
And that was because she was hollering and just like yelling and howling and raising her arms. It was like, nothing happened to us. So she was kind of just going just nuts to where it was like, don't be mad. Why are you mad here? I came here to talk, but after I seen the scene, I seen why she was mad.
I was about to say, do you kind of see now why she was already like a little bit worked up? So the way it seemed like it was a whole ambush all around for her.
Yeah.
Based on how the situation played out.
Right. It did. It looked really, after I seen it, I was like, oh, I look really bad. Oh, she looks. And then, of course, they portray her as this sweet little dainty little chick, which is fine. And they want to keep her looking clean, which is fine. That's why they didn't show her scene where she was yelling and cutting up and acting up. They wanted to put it on me, which is fine, because I really kind of was the villain, because I was bringing the bad news.
Yeah, I will say that. Kenya said something about how she had to get up from the table at some point?
No, Kenya got up.
I think Kenya said something about Tanya had to get up from the table at some point during the conversation.
When I first walked in, Tanya got up and left and went to the bathroom and stood up at the top of the stairs talking with Eva for a while, down about us for a while. And I was like, what is going on? What's happening, ladies? And then that's where Kenya was like, oh, she's mad. I had to confront her about a wig. And then they came down, and then when she came downstairs, it was just like, what's going on? And she was already angry because of the Kenya. So when Kenya brought me, it just brought more fuel.
Yeah.
And here, I'm not coming with the fire. I'm coming with some goddamn cookies. I'm coming with some fire. So I was like, you know what? I'll take the bullet. I can handle it. I'm a big girl. I'm strong. I'll take all the hate, all the negativity, because after it's said and done, I'm sure Tanya will be apologizing to me, because I'm not the first lady he's talked to. I will not be the last.
Did you know when you told Cynthia and did you know when you told Cynthia and Kenya about the situation, did you know you were on camera at that point?
I had took my mic off.
Okay.
So of course, I'm in the moment thinking, okay, if I take my mic off, I'm good. Let me tell them what I got to say. Not knowing that their mic and it's still producers walking around. So I'm like, let me wait till the scene is over, then I'll go out and say, hey, ladies, this is what's up. So when I'm going to say, so your boy Paul, when I stretched his name, that's when I noticed the camera taping me. Shit, should I keep going or should I stop? But I'm like, damn, I've already went this far. Let me just keep going.
Did you know before the season? Well, I guess you had to know by the point the season aired that this was going to be a thing. How did you mentally prepare for that? Like, were you anxious about this coming up on television?
I was pretty anxious. I didn't didn't know that I was going to be chopped up and screwed so bad to where my PR and everyone is like, Shiana, they're going to make you look really bad. I'm like, you think so? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I don't see how they can make me look bad, but now I see it.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you look like one of the biggest reality TV villains of 2019. Going into 2020.
Yeah, I have been
And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing sort of with you in this situation because I also know how reality TV works. And I know everything that we see on television ain't everything that happens.
Right. And the audience doesn't know that.
No, they don't.
Everybody that's commented, they have no clue. They have no idea.
So let me ask you this question. I told you I was going to ask you all the juicy details. So when the episode aired, of course, because it sort of painted you as a villain. Can we talk about the mugshot?
We can definitely talk about it. It's
okay.
All good.
All right. So when that came out, can you talk to us about that? How did that end up? What happened with that?
So I'm a California girl, born and raised. Living fast life. I was a bad girl for very, very, very long time. I wanted to change my lifestyle, change my energy, change my surroundings. I have two sets of children. I have a 25-year-old, an 18-year-old, and I have a 9 and 10. So my 18 and 25-year-olds, they've seen the fast mom. They've seen the hot girl mom, the LA fast running the streets mom. This set, they see a whole nother woman. They see a woman, a mother that's mature, that's grown, that's learned from her mistakes, that wants more out of life, positivity. So with that being said, when I moved here, I made a vow to myself and to God and to the universe, which was 7-8 years ago, that I would not do anything incriminating. I would not surround myself around those people. God, please bless me, guide me, get me where I need to be in life. He has brought me so far to where I kind of got googly-eyed at a moment, and I seen some people was kind of getting some fast money, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I won't do anything, but maybe I could put a little order in. So let me get this marble table. Can you guys go get this table for me? I'll give you half the price, half the money for it. Don't worry about it. I'll go pick it up. Just pay for it. They got the table. I went to go pick it up. Police was waiting for me. Charged me with the same thing they were charged with. Had no idea this is Georgia. Whomever is with whomever has to do with the crime, you all get charged with the same crime.
Wow.
So I got charged as if I went in and slid the credit card and made the purchase. Gotcha. So it's fine because guess what? It was a slap on it was a little pat on the butt. It was God saying you made a vow to me and you don't. Now I can send you away for the rest of your life now. So it was a situation that I've learned from, and I'm kind of glad that the mugshot went out and about because what everybody sees, I mean, just as I have a cookie shop and I'm successful and I'm this and that, doesn't mean I don't have a story to tell and I didn't I've come from somewhere that's made me who I am now.
You know, I talk about that a lot on the channel about how we all have friends, family, relatives that have had some type of issue happen and then they learn from it afterwards. So I applaud you for being so open about it. And I think that somebody else, you know, regardless of whether or not you feel like you get hate from a situation, somebody else will see your story and it will impact them.
Yeah.
So in terms of like business, talk to us real quick about your business because while we were talking, I was like, oh, let me make a note here to make sure we flashing your business down at the bottom of the screen so they know where to go to follow you if they happen to be watching this video. How did you get involved with like baked goods and cookies and all that kind of stuff? That's all I've been eating on quarantine, by the way. So
us too.
So how did you get involved in that?
I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so I've always been in the kitchen cooking and baking. When awards would come on growing up, I would always like make cookies for my siblings. Of course, I would use someone else's recipe. to where it got to a point to where it was like, okay, we really like cookies in this family, but we know what type of cookie that we like. So let me try to concoct and make this kind of cookie because we like a fat, thick cookie, kind of gooey, but yet crispy. So I was like, let me make this happen. So coming out of a horrible relationship, I was in a relationship for 8 years. It was one of the worst relationships ever. Coming out of that relationship, of course, that relationship I was taken care of. He was in the fast life. I didn't have to work. It was one point where my gas bill needed to be paid at 5 o'clock. Here it is, 4:45. I'm depending on this man to pay this bill. Dude, are you going to pay this bill? The boys are here. Are you going to really wait for, are you going to get this? Our wives are going to get cut off. I hang up the phone. I say, son. My son was 11 at the time. I said, hey, we got to think of $1 million company. I cannot continue to keep depending on this man. I don't want to keep having to do the things that I've seen that I need to do. We need to figure this out. At the moment, I had just baked cookies. My son drinking his milk, holding up a cookie like, Mom, cookies. I'm like, boy, we need some real money. So I thought about it. I was like, I really could do this cookie thing. Like, Mrs. Fields made it happen for herself. We can like customize cookies. Like they customize pizza, you customize your ice cream. Let's customize cookies. I'm a lady. That time of the month, I want chocolate. The rest of the month, I want candy and nuts, and I want different cookies every day.
Right.
So I thought about it, made it happen. Started it out from Vegas, had the cookies at the Sugar Factory on the Strip, was selling out daily. Ended up being in some restaurants, and I just really didn't feel like I could grow in Vegas. And I had always been attracted to Atlanta, and I had one friend, Miss Chalet. She lived out here, but she lives in Columbus. So when I moved to Atlanta, Columbus is like an hour out. So when I moved to Atlanta, I basically didn't know nobody. But I had my mind right. I had a little money. The boys is with their father. I'm like, boys, you guys go with your dad. When I send for you, we'll have our own place, a brand new car, and our business will be going. And when I got them in 4 months, everything was happening. I was blessed, truly, still going.
Okay. Well, everybody likes a gourmet dessert. So I don't think you'll be going out of business anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
Has being on the show been good for business overall?
It's been very good, honestly. I've gotten a lot of business. I'm sure if I was seen in a different light, I would have gained more business. But
I'm gonna tell you something though. The name helped.
Yes.
The name has.
The cookie lady, and you know what's funny? I have always been the cookie lady because, like, when me and my boys are out and we'll see like our customers, they'll be like, "Hey, cookie lady," because of course my name is Shiana. Nobody can remember my name, so I've always been the cookie lady. So when they gave me the name, it was like, this is perfect. Perfect.
All right. So with regards to, I know they're taping the reunion in the next, maybe a couple of days at this point. By the time people see the video, it may have already been taped. What, if anything, would you want to say to Tanya if, given what we've seen thus far, like what would you like to sort of put a little end cap on the situation with? What would you say to her?
You know what's funny? When we had lunch, I said all of that. After the lunch was done, Cynthia, Kenya, and Eva said, and Tanya was sitting at the table. They said, Shiana, you handled this very well. You were very classy, very respectful. They commended me, which they didn't show that.
They didn't show that.
So I feel I've already, because I already talked to her. I said, ma'am, I didn't come here to hurt your feelings. I didn't intend to come here to hurt you. This is not my intentions. I just wanted to let you know as a woman. So I've told her this already. So she's heard it. So that's why,
So we didn't get that feeling from.
See that?
Yeah.
They're not gonna show the good stuff. So I feel like me and her, we're good.
Close.
But she's, of course, living off of all this because all her fans are really hating on me. So she's probably forgotten that part. And even at the table, I had brought cookies. So I noticed everybody grabbing cookies, and I noticed she didn't grab a cookie. So Eva asked her, would you like a cookie? Quiet, guys. Eva asked Tanya, would you like a cookie? And she's like, I don't know, cookie. She didn't know I noticed that. So after the lunch, I get up like, bye, ladies. I go over to Tanya. I said, Tanya, it was really nice meeting you. I noticed you didn't want one of my cookies. It's totally fine. I still feel that we had a great conversation, and I'm glad I was able to get this off my chest. And she was like, she handed me one of her business cards, and Everything was good. Yes, everything is good. That's why it's so funny how she's all like, she's a fraud. She's like talking really bad about me. Lady, I have not said nothing negative about you. I don't even, there's no reason to. She's calling me a fraud. She's called.
That's wild. I have one more question. I feel like Cynthia at some point said there was a moment where she wanted you to have that conversation earlier. I
think the ladies really kind of wanted me to talk to Tanya one-on-one.
Okay.
Opposed to me coming to the lunch.
Yeah.
I think that's where it was going to end up going. But Tanya did her thing, which I don't blame her. She brings it to the show, honey. She came back to the season, honey. She brings the viewers, baby.
She did. She did bring it that day.
So, hey, I mean, I'm not mad at nobody. But like I said, I've already somewhat apologized and spoke to her and talked to her, and we're good. That's why I'm, like, surprised that all this has turned really negative. And she's riding the wave of it being negative.
You know, I think it's I always tell people this, you know, if a reality show paints you as a villain, it's not always a bad thing.
It's not.
And every reality show needs villains across the board. That doesn't mean, I think what people often need to realize is that's not the totality of the person. So I just want to say thank you for talking to us today. I really, really appreciate it. I think you're dope. Great spirit, great energy. And I like when somebody's open. And hopefully, if you ever have anything else coming up, let me know. I don't have a problem plugging it on the show. We good.
It happened. I'm here.
I have your social down here. It's scrolling through, so they'll have all that information. And if there's anything else that you want me to put in the description of the video, I definitely will. But with that being said, hold on for 1 second. I'm just going to do a quick outro, and then we'll hit the end button on this recording. Thanks you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you to the cookie lady. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell button, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Have a good one.